All right, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Trell here on Team APS channel. A lot of you guys know that we got a few new Cardian cards, and some of the, I think Cardians have some of the most broken spells in the game. So they got a new synchro, a new main deck monster, and a new spell. So I'm gonna give you guys a quick profile of that. First thing first, we got one of the new cards here. It's gonna be a Flower Cardian Cherry Blossom with Curtain. This has two separate effects. One is, first off, it's a level 3 monster with 2,000 attack and defense, which is pretty awesome. But it works as an honest, whereas you can discard it from the hand, and a Cardian monster gains 1,000 attack for that turn, and it's not once per turn, so that's pretty awesome. Which is good because the Cardians kind of max out at 2,000, outside of the synchros. And the another effect of it is you can, to special summon this card, because they're going to be brought out by its own effect, special summon this card, you would excavate the top card of your deck. And if it's a Cardian monster, you get to special summon this card from the hand. And if not, then they both go to the graveyard. But you play a shit ton of Cardians, so 9 out of 10 you're not gonna miss. But anyway, this is the new card, and of course it's actually really damn good. Like, it helps get rid of like a lot of bricky hands because it gives you a free Cardian on board to do a lot of other plays. Next, old school, something we already had was the Flower Cardian Pine. This is the one that can actually be normal summon. When it's normal summon, draw a card. If it's a Cardian, reveal. Sorry about that. If it's a Cardian card, you could reveal the card if it's a Cardian card, add it to your hand, otherwise send it to the graveyard. Also, if this card gets destroyed by your opponent, battle a card effect, draw a card. It's pretty much only, like I say, it's only normal summonable monster in the deck. So, people say the plays revolve around him, but they really don't anymore now that we got the new card. But he's still a great card to open up with, just for a free advantage. Sometimes I'll just ram him into another monster just for the free card, so whatever. But you got to play 3. Like I said, it's Cardians, so you want to play them together. Next, we got the main tuner of the deck, which is the Flower Cardian Peony with Butterfly. Pretty much, this card pretty much is, I think, special summoned by attributing another Cardian. Make sure you're by attributing one Flower Cardian except for itself. And then you draw a card and reveal it. If it's a Cardian, then you get to actually stack your opponent's deck, the top 3 cards of their deck, either to the bottom or the top of their deck in any order. And also, anytime you use this card for the synchro of a Cardian monster, all the other synchro material, this and all the other material are counted as level 2, which is really, really important because all your monsters are big and they require multiple monsters. So, of course, this is actually the main guy you want to be going for, just being honest. Next, we got Flower Cardian Zebragrass. He's a level 7. Pretty much, if you control a level 7 or lower, he's a level 8. Sorry, he's a level 8. If you control a Cardian monster of level 7 or lower, then you can special summon this card from the hand. And pretty much whenever he's summoned, he's pretty much a magical mallet. Reveal a certain number of Cardian monsters from your hand, shuffle them into the deck, draw the same number of cards. That's pretty much what he's just there for consistency issues. And you want to run 3 once again. He's a Cardian name, and I think it's fun to look at. So whatever. Next, we got one of my favorite ones is the Flower Cardian Willow. Pretty much, he said if you control the 10 or 11, I always forget that level, so whatever. But if he's a level 11, so if you control a level 10 or lower Cardian, then you get to special summon them from the hand. It's just free. You don't have to tribute or anything like that, just like the Zebragrass. And once per turn, you can shuffle a Cardian monster from your graveyard into your deck and then draw another card. So that's what I say. You just pretty much just gaining so much card advantage with the deck. So you got to run 3 of that. You just want to keep your hand replenished. He's free summon. He just replaces himself in the hand just so you can get more Cardian or get into their spells. So 3 of that. Next, we got Flower Cardian, the Paulonia. How is that pronounced? Yeah, Paulonia is what we're going to call it. Pretty much, if you control a level 11 or lower, because he's level 12, Flower Cardian monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. And pretty much when this card is targeted for an attack, you can negate the attack in the battle phase and draw a card. And of course, I run 3. I was just reading it, whatever. I run 3, but yeah, if they're targeted for an attack, you negate the attack in the battle phase, draw a card. Once again, I mainly just run it because it's a free summon to the field because you want to get more monsters on the field for your synchros and things of that nature. And of course, people will try to target it and try to kill it, and you just get free advantage. It makes them not want to have to attack, especially if this is about the only thing that they can actually attack into. So it's just really hard to just sit out there and just kind of float into more advantage. Next, we have our Flower Cardian Clover with Boar. Pretty much you summon this by tributing another Cardian monster. Pretty much all of them you tribute by tributing another card besides themselves. And when this card is summoned, and they're all special summons, but when this card is special summoned, draw a card, reveal it. If it's a Cardian monster, you get to pop one monster your opponent controls. It does not target, so that's really, really good. So pretty much you just activate the effect. Either they respond or they don't. Get rid of some shit. So this card's really good. You got to run 3 because you want the non-targetable removal. It's just really, really good for the format or just the game in general. 3 of that. And then likewise, we got 3 Flower Cardian Maple with Deer. I don't know why their names are so fucking weird. But anyway, 3 Flower Cardian Maple with Deer. This is the exact counterpart of our Clover with Boar. Same thing. Tribute Cardian monster, special summon this. When it's special summon, draw a card, reveal if it's a Cardian, pop a spell or trap card your opponent controls. Once again, non-targeting, very, very crucial. Really good for field removal, so got to run through that as well. Because, I mean, the deck is already crazy as it is, so if we get any kind of board wipes, you got to go for it. Last but not least, for the monsters are pretty much the bad ones, and I call them the bad ones because they're really not that easy to summon, but they're decent. First, we got our Flower Cardian Pine with Crane. You must only be special summoned by attributing a level 1 Cardian monster to summon it, which is really specific, so that's why it makes it not so good and why I only run one. But once again, you just want to have names on the board, and I kind of forget his effects sometimes. Yeah, this is the one that, this is the one at the end of the battle phase. If it battles, you draw a card, and all of them pretty much have if this card is special summon, draw a card, reveal it if it's a Cardian, keep it, whatever. Otherwise, send it to graveyard, which is very important for when I get into their spells. But yeah, so pretty much at the end of the battle phase, if this card battles, you have to draw a card. So it's a free plus, but it's really just in there for the name. I summon this only if I ever have to. Other than that, don't really do it. This is the Zebra Grass with Moon, same thing as the level 1 Pine with Crane. Tribute off a level 8, and you get to do the whole draw off special summon. And if this card destroys the opponent's monster by battle, draw a card. Doesn't happen very often. You are playing Cardian, so they don't really get that big. Your main deck monsters don't do a lot of destruction except for the non-targetable destroyers. Then next we have another tuner, and actually you got to tribute off a level 11 for him. Same thing, draw a card if it's a Cardian, reveal, add to hand, or otherwise sent to grave. He's pretty much like the other tuner that we have in the main deck that says if you're going to synchro into a Cardian monster, you're going to make everything else on the field, including this level 2s. Like I said, once again, which is really important. And then last but not least, we have our Flower Cardian Polonia with Phoenix. And same thing as always, got to tribute off a level 12, I believe. Yeah, level 12. And if this inflicts battle damage to your opponent, draw a card. Simple as that. All of them have the draw effect on the summon, but if it inflicts battle damage, draw a card. Once again, I don't really summon these 4 to the field unless I just have to. So I just run one up because they're different names and they can't be brought out, ignoring summoning conditions through other cards. So other than that, I mean, that's it for the main deck monsters. Next, probably the best spell card in the game, we got Flower Gathering, where pretty much you special summon 4 Flower Cardian monsters with 100 attack and defense with different names from your deck and attack position. They have their effects negated. Also, they can be tributed for a tribute summon. And you cannot normal summon or special summon monster other than Cardians, for the turn, but you don't care. All you play is Cardians anyway. But pretty much, and you're going to run 3. I'm just reading for reference because I'm not going to lie, I do forget full effect sometimes. But anyway, you're going to run 3, so you get 4 free monsters, and pretty much that just starts off your plays because you're going to start with a handful of monsters anyway, mostly. I mean, because it's a shit ton of monsters. But you get 4 free monsters, and you just start attributing because you can't do it for a tribute summon, but you can go for a tribute special summon because that's pretty much what the deck does. And you can bring out all your other monsters from your hand, which get their effects, and it allows you to get into your pluses and get into your bigger plays. So, got to run through of that. Pretty much you just run through of everything. They're all just so fucking good. Next, you got flower stacking. Pretty much you just go into your deck, take 3 monsters that you want, put them on top of the deck of any order, and that's what you can do with it. And then, of course, during your main phase, except for the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card, then target 1 Flower Cardian monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So once again, you're still getting a hand advantage. So if you've used up a lot of like your tuner or your spell and trap or your monster destruction, banish this, get them back to hand, make the play again, give you more spot removal, more pluses, whatever you need to go into, your big monsters. So once again, 3 of this, too damn good. This card is probably the worst of them all, but it's actually really good in tangent with the flower stacking. But this is Super Koi Koi. Pretty much you're going to activate the top 3 cards of your deck. For each Flower Cardian that you hit, you're going to special summon them to the field, ignoring summoning conditions. Their effects are negated, and I think they're treated as level 2s. Yeah, level become 2 and their effects negated, right. But any other card that's not a Flower Cardian card, it gets banished face down, and you take 1,000 damage for each one. But you're going to make sure that doesn't happen. And also, this has the graveyard effect where pretty much you can banish this from grave and tribute a Cardian monster to special summon another Cardian from the hand, ignoring summoning conditions. So that's really good. But if you, like I say, if you pretty much go Flower Cardian with the flower stacking, you're never going to miss. You're going to put the 3 monsters on top of the deck that you want, and then you're going to go into this. Now, you're always careful because this does make them level 2, and it does negate their effects. So you want to make sure that you're not stacking anything that you're going to want to use the effect of. So, I mean, but that just comes with play testing. But like I said, this is probably the worst card of them all, but it's still really good. And then last but not least, we have the new card, which I think is pretty freaking awesome. Reincarnation. You're going to target 1 Flower Cardian monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. Then you can special summon 1 Flower Cardian from your hand to the field, ignoring summoning conditions. And also, I'm running 3. Also, if this card is sent to the graveyard by a Flower Cardian effect, you get to excavate the top 5 cards of your deck, choose a spell or trap from those 5 cards, add it to your hand, and the rest go on top of the deck in any order. So it's like a Curry Bandit, but it's better because you're not losing anything. You're not just randomly milling shit to the grave. Like I said, so you pretty much, if you hit this off one of your Flower Cardian monsters, it goes to grave, bam, top 5 cards. Oh, look, I got this really cool card here. I'm going to add this to hand. And the rest go to the top of the deck. So it's pretty much your own way of stacking your deck. That's it for the main deck. I don't play anything else outside of the Cardians. Now, some people play Soul Charge. Some people play Rhoda, these extend plays and give consistency. But the only problem is that none of those cards work if you hit them off of a Cardian card. It's just a minus for you. I mean, they're good to have opening hand, but you can't ensure that you will. So I just run pure Cardians because everything that I hit, whether it be, a monster or even just a Cardian spell card, I'm going to get an additional effect off of, so I don't want to hit a Soul Charge and be like, oh man, I needed that. So I just don't worry about it. You can if you want to, and I've played it before, but I just chose not to for this build. Extra deck is very subjective, so I'm pretty much just going to give you guys, the extra deck for the Cardian specifically. Anything else you guys want to run, you definitely can, but this is just strictly for me because a lot of times when you go through your turns, you're going to realize you can only special summon Cardian monsters anyway, so I don't really worry about anything else besides the Cardian monsters. So first we got a 3 Flower Cardian Board Fly. And what it does is, it gives your Cardian monsters piercing, which is really important when people try to defend, because sometimes you can get bigger than them. And also, during your turn, you can banish a Cardian monster from your graveyard, and until your opponent, to the end of your opponent's next turn, they cannot activate card effects in graveyard, and they cannot special summon monsters from the grave. So that's really, really important. I actually saw a friend of mine randomly. He played against PKBA. And he actually summoned this card first turn, and he used the effect, and he gamed them because they just couldn't get any advantage off the fact that he was just able to lock down the graveyard with this card. So it's really good, and it's a level 6, but it requires 3 monsters, so that's what makes it really important for you to have your tuner that makes everything level 2, because you're gonna make everything level 2 because it requires 3 monsters. So, and all the cards they require like crazy astronomical bullshit. Next we got our Flower Cardian Light Shower. You're gonna run through that. This was our original Big Daddy. Pretty much, this makes it so that your Cardian monsters cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects. It's 3,000, which is really good. Also, during your opponent's draw phase, if they draw for their normal draw phase, they take automatic 15. And if you have multiple of these on the field, that does stack, so they will take 3,000 or 45 or whatever you get lucky enough to get on the field. And with that being said as well, only other drawback to this is that after your opponent's turn, you have to decide to either skip your next draw phase or negate this card's effects until your opponent's next standby phase. But a lot of times I just skip my draw phase. People see that as a minus, but you're playing Cardians and you get to draw so much every turn and adding stuff back from the hand, so you're never really minusing off of that. This requires 4 monsters, so once again, you want your level 2 and you need 3 other Cardian monsters, make them all level 2, make this really, really good. So gotta run through that. And last but not least, fucking big ass card of the archetype, and I just fucking love it to death. This is Flower Cardian Light Flare, 5,000 attack, 0 defense. You don't care about defense, you're a thug. But pretty much this takes 5 monsters, so when you make this card, understand that you are committing. This is also the reason why people like to play Soul Charge, because they are using pretty much their entire board for this card. But this card pretty much is a once per turn, it's a Shein, so once per turn you can negate a spell or trap. Just whatever, just once per turn, negate a spell or trap, because it's awesome like that. Also, whenever a Cardian monster battles a monster during the battle phase, obviously battle phase, it negates that monster's effect. So a lot of times I have people that try to use Crystal Wing or they try to use like Utopia the Lightning or some shit to get over this, and they just can't because they'll attack into it and try to and gain their attack, and since it cannot activate, and this is a continuous effect that doesn't activate, they can't stop me, so they just run into my monster and die, or I just run into their monster, they can't do shit. And last but not least, if your opponent does find a way around this through battle or through card effect, if this card leaves the field because of that, you can special summon a Cardian synchro monster from your extra deck, ignoring summoning conditions except for himself. So, this dies, you just bring out Big Daddy Kane. And if you ever get lucky enough to have both of these on the field, there's just not much your opponent can do outside of kaijus. I mean, other than that, like, you're just going in. Like, it's just too good. 5,000 attack. Fucking love it. Anyway, that's the end of the deck. This takes 5 monsters. I love the new Cardian. They have the best spell cards in the game. If you guys like it, you guys should try it out. Thumbs up. I love this shit.
Perfect.